In this lesson, we're going to explore the height fields. Height fields are a great way to preview what your fluid simulation is going to look like if you were to use it as, say, a displacement map. So we're going to have to jump around a little bit in the attribute editor to really demonstrate this. Let's go up here and create a 2D container with an emitter. Okay. And we'll go ahead and just play this back. Okay, great. So we have this basic, essentially a default container with emitter. Let's go ahead and set the size of this to something really, really easy to see. And I'm going to set this to 10. Now, you don't see anything in the preview here. However, if I choose Use Height Field, look what happens. You get this really difficult thing to see in your viewport. And a lot of this is because of the transparency and the color assigned to this field. Okay, so let's go and work on that first. Let's come down to where it says shading. Let's open that up. And I'm going to remove all of the transparency. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to 100% black. And then over here where it says selected color, I need to put in a gradient. So I'm just going to add a couple of colors here. One of them is going to be black. The first one's going to be black. Okay, we'll accept that. And then where it says color input, we're going to choose density. So I know that's a lot of jumping around and we haven't talked about these attributes yet. We will. I just want to show you very quickly how this works. Okay, so again, we set transparency to black, set a gradient from black to white, kind of midway, and then set the color input to density. So that way we can preview what the density looks like. Now if you take a look, here is our simulation. Okay, so if I turn off Use Height Field, there it is. That's our simulation. Okay. But check this out. You can actually see what this simulation is going to look like. Where would this be useful? Well, you're going to be able to use this to preview things like if you had a boiling pot of water and you wanted to see what that height field would look like if you were to use a displacement map on the surface of the water and how that turbulence is moving. You can kind of see how that's going to react and look before you even hit the actual render button. Okay, so again, a lot of jumping around to make that work, but it's you can spend hours just playing with this whole system. So again, if you move your emitter, let me get in there and get just the emitter. If I move it down, it's no problem. It'll update automatically. And you can kind of see how the height is previewed there. It's pretty neat. So that's how you can use the height field. Now, what we're looking at here in depth, we can actually preview that. Let me just select my container. We'll go to Display. And again, Boundary Draw, we'll change this to Bounding Box. And you can see that the height field is actually at the back of the bounding box. So it does represent itself correctly. Okay, and that's your default outline. So it looks like it's moved back, but it's just really at the back of the container.